Indulge me for 5, 10 minutes. Let's take a little dive into all of this. So what about for you? Big disappointment. Jack's been planning this trip for 6 months. The airplane's leaving, but he couldn't get to the airport, so it all fell through. What about you with a disappointment? Disappointment. I want the politicians to be different. I want my partner to be different. I want my body to be different. Oh my God, I hate being sick. Whatever your what's your loudest disappointment right now? And then Jack says, even with this, even in the midst of, damn it, I can't make it to my flight, this is all happening when? It's happening now. He calls it the eternal now. Is that true even for your disappointment? That there's a sense of presence, a nowness. As Raymond says, a newness. Can we even find a newness in that, in your disappointment, in review, going back to it right now? Wow, in this moment, thinking about the disappointment, a newness. Then we're going to go two different directions in this with this together. First, we're gonna do what the Buddhists call taking refuge. Like in the midst of like an aletheia system, there was overwhelm. And maybe for us, when we have this disappointment, we have parts react. Like notice how your system is with the disappointment. The parts like, no, this shouldn't happen. I should have done something differently. Damn the weather, whatever that is. How do we find absolute okayness in the midst of that? How do you find the peace that passeth understanding? How do you find the sky? How do you find pure self? For some of us, it's just kind of falling back, zooming out into the background. Does that work for you? Does that help you? Is that your doorway to self, to causeless okayness? For others, there's a sense of sinking in. For others, it might be just the recognition of what Jack was saying. It's all happening in the now. And like Eckhart Tolle says, there can be no problem in the now. How do you find self in the midst of difficulty? Or lastly, it could be like Raymond, newness. It's the newness, like, wow, even this is new. And in the newness, here I am. So this is kind of the leaning back. And then we're going to go the opposite direction. What's it like when we lean forward into experience? Into whatever, again, for each of us, what is the big disappointment? I'm sick. Can't make the flight. My girlfriend, she's just not nice. I want her to be different. What's the disappointment? When we lean into that, when we allow our system to become more intimate with the experience, what's that like? Might be some scariness. Parts might be like, oh no, this is what we don't want. We don't want to feel this disappointment. We don't want to feel this, oh my gosh, I screwed up. But what happens when we feel this? What do you find when you feel the experience? What do you find there? Is there a vibrancy there? Is there an aliveness in the experience? See if you can find it. What's beneath the label of this is bad in the experience? What are the sensations? What's there? What do you find? And as you touch that, as you feel it, as you glimpse it, can you find something where there's no problem? No problem to solve. It's just what is. It is this newness Raymond speaks of. As we lean into experience, newness, now aliveness, For some of us, I use the word aliveness. It might be presence, it might be vibration, it might be fire. Can you even find some fire in this? Like for some people, it's like drinking a cup of coffee, leaning into experience. Can you find some fire? And then the Hindus speak of this as Satchidananda, as Ananda, as bliss. The nature of experience is bliss. Maybe you can even touch that. A little glimpse of bliss here in the disappointment itself. Miss the damn flight. To really feel that. And then let's just go the opposite way again. Let's like come back up to neutral. Here we are. And then we lean back, we take refuge again. We lean back into this that doesn't come and go. See if if your system can access it, like what Vendor was speaking of, where she was just resting in this connectedness, this peace. What Jack speaks of, it's always the eternal now. What John speaks of, we're just kind of resting, soaking in this. Haneen points to this awareness of the entire space of the room. What's it like to go back to that? To rest back. Some people call this home. This it doesn't come and go. And then from here, let's gently come back together. Maybe you can let the eyes gently open on their own and just notice. Notice on one level, nothing changes as the eyes open. And on another level, something might change as we become aware. We come more into time, more into experience, more into aware of, wow, the 9 friends that are with us. Maybe we open more to feel this big space that John just we get to soak and rest in. What's it like to be you? What's it like to be you? And we are playing at the we're also including what Johann spoke of. How do we integrate IFS parts? How do we integrate the foreground of experience with the ever-present background, this non-dual reality? That's what we're dancing in all of this together. And there's no place to go, nothing to do. What's it like to be you right now? What did you find as you lean forward and you lean back? And I'd love it if we have time to be able to get to everybody and just kind of dance as each of us facilitate the group through their experience. And I'd love to start with um, we always pause at the hour break, if I remember, because some of us are counselors and we've got all kinds of things happening on a Monday, and John usually has to run for that. Anybody, let's start with whoever's going to leave on the hour because we want to make sure we don't want to miss anybody. Who wants to go first? Is that
Right.
Vendor? Yay,
Yeah.
Vendor!
Because I'm just worried the battery on my phone will die, even though I've got it charged. It's charging. Um,
Oh, before you go, are you falling in love with Vendor like I do? Just notice, what's your experience of Vendor? Is it like, oh my God, when they speak of the goddess that's here, when they speak of beauty, oh, here it is, Vendor is here. Can you see that? Can you enjoy, how deeply can you enjoy what's here? How deeply can we enjoy Vendor? Please tell us, Vendor.
I was trying to bring up the two situation in my mind, kind of bring up the feelings that should have come. They were not coming. I think my part that is so used to live in fear and control, and it's kind of relaxing. Um, even a long time, she was my ex-sister-in-law, but became a friend. She said, "You're the only one I can trust. I need to share this with you." Her daughter, 30 after 30 years, wanted to connect with her. But it was the mother who wanted to connect it 5 years ago with her. Now she said, "I don't know if I have the capacity." And part of me was getting, really? Um, but then I was trying to go into my own presence where I didn't want to judge her. Um, We talked about 2 hours.
So let me invite everybody into this because this goes to Johan's question about the parts, the relative, and this that doesn't change the non-dual. What's this like as we hear vendors speak about this conversation and share what just happened in time for her, her experience? How are
Mm.
we meeting it? Are we noticing we have parts that come up? It's like, oh, God, I'm trying to understand, or I can't really relate, or wow, neato. How are we experiencing vendor story? And as we, and are we experiencing from a place of lean back into just resting in beingness, or are we more leaning forward into her story? Are we leaning in as she describes what happened, what her sister said, what she said? As we lean into it, are we able to see what Adam speaks of, this radiance? Are we able to see the radiance in her experience itself? In her, and this is part of the game here because I'm going to suggest it's easier to do that with vendor's experience than our own. If we can see this in vendor, it makes it easier to see it in our own. Tell us a little bit more, vendor, or it's like what was it like not being able, as we were doing the little guided exploration, you said that there wasn't really access, the parts really weren't coming up strongly or densely for you. Um,
Hmm.
what else would you like to share with us?
Um, I think it's the allowing part of the other people's experience. I felt like a freedom in that. Um, I often worry, you know, like it's been quite a journey yesterday. My nephew is struggling with severe anxiety, depression, and we've been encouraging, like I've been encouraging to, get out of the house. And then he will message me, I'm scared. I'm at their house, but I'm scared. And I kept saying, I trust you.
Mm, yes.
He said, tell my mom I want to leave this house. I said, I can't, my parts are not ready to tell anyone anything, but I
Mm.
trust you.
So what's it
And
like right now, vendor, having the space? And can we hear this as vendors describing the experience? There's space from her part. She's speaking kind of for the parts for the experience. We can hear the space that's there. And just notice in our own systems when there's space, and then when we are identified with the part, identified with the experience, caught in it. Mm.
mhm,
What about for you, Vendor? What's it like having a little space there? Because we've got such a big group today, I feel like we got to keep moving to get to everybody. But
yeah,
what's the space like for you?
I, it's almost like the part feeling sadness. I don't know if that the part that was always wanting to be in control, that's feeling sad, but now kind of taking on a different role, or maybe,
Yeah,
that would be just letting go, the
I
part
guess.
of want to let go,
So
and there's freedom.
yeah, so what's that like for all of us as we hear Vendor say there's a part that has sadness, maybe it wanted more control. Oops. From Raymond. I'm also leaving on the hour. Okay, we'll go to Raymond next. Thank you, Raymond. Um,
Mhm.
so to have a part, the sadness, as we hear vendors speak about that, is it just vendor, or could we know that part well in our own system? Sadness, and maybe and the wanting control, wanting comfort, whatever that is, sadness. But as we hear that in vendor and we hear it in our own system, is there a problem that needs to be fixed? Do we need to change our state or move away from it? Or can there just be awareness of it if we're resting back or a leaning into the sadness? And what do we find when we lean into that? Gosh, thank you, Vendor. This is what's so hard. Like I could spend an hour just
Thank
diving
you.
in with Vendor. Thank you. That was beautiful. We'll just keep going. We got so much life here in everybody. Because we've got yeah, just Raymond. Yeah, what you got for us?
So um, I'll just explain again how this non-duality and IFS parts is experiential for me. So my partner goes to Nepal in a couple of days, and I'm going to join her, but not for a month. So of course we'll miss each other and things like that. And this is where for me there's a difference between completely dissociating from your experience and or recognizing that something's actually false. So my experience is there'll be thoughts coming, for example, like, what am I going to do on Saturday night? I'm going to be alone. Now, I'm okay to be alone. Okay. But what do I do in practice? I don't time travel. I don't. And it's a very radical practice. Because even like when Jack said, and he's right, that in the present moment, so in the present moment, Vinda's also, brought in the normality of being human. I'm traveling here, Jack was traveling there. But where I believe Eckhart Tolle is correct is that, so right now for me, there's no problem in myself, the presence of myself. But if I choose, and this is my only choice, I cannot choose what appears. That's random. And if I could choose what appears, I'd make it happy all the time. So that proves that I don't have control over that. So the only choice I have in this present moment is, where am I going to put my attention?
Okay.
And I do control that. So by conscious awareness, if something gets too much for me, so I would also experience at times an overwhelm of some description or other. I'll feel all that energy, but I won't allow the story to clothe me. I'll stay naked. I'll feel all the feelings. It might make me cry, it might make me do whatever in my body, but sometimes I don't wear this. Why? Because
Yeah.
it's false.
Yeah, let me
It's
pause
not
for
true.
just a minute here, because that can be overwhelming even to hear that. Oh, there's overwhelm here, and I just stay in that and I feel it. All right, I just want to check if you have a spiritual achiever that shows up. It's like, that's it. That's all I have to do. I just got to stay in the overwhelm. I got to feel it all. Well, that's why we have these protector parts that like, whoa, no, that's a little too much. We don't need to do that. And so just to be aware of, if there's any sense of, as we hear people sharing, a spiritual achiever comes up, it's like, oh, that would be helpful. What Jack was saying, what Raymond's saying. Just notice that's just the part that says it. And really we can find there's okayness as we lean back, just already here. And let me just check with you about two more things Raymond said. He also said, I don't time travel. And just notice where that goes for each of us. I don't time travel. And then he says, it's really about attention and how that plays for each of us. Raymond, I'm noticing we need to, especially with like Aleth, with some of our new folks, to really give them time today. Good for now? Awesome. Awesome. How are we doing? Especially with like, Adam, Johan, Alethea here, and how's everybody doing? And Zoe and feeling the steadiness, and John and resting in this, and Haneen with the simultaneity of everything and here, everything, nowhere, and right here, me, and honoring me. How are we doing? Who wants to go next? Johan, awesome. How's it going?
I'm noticing there's much more openness right now for me. In my experience, I feel more clear, more present, more here. Whereas, like, yeah, there was a lot coming up prior to that, and there's still like, I'm still feeling like, but it kind of has shifted. It's like, instead of being like contracted, super contracted and like in the overwhelmed and the fear, I think related to just being in a new group of people, like really staying like just like letting go into that experience and not trying to change it and just allowing it. And yeah, it's like it seems like alchemy is coming to mind, like
But so what's that like? I mean, I hear just this letting go, this allowing. It's like floating with the river, being here. What's it like to be here and all of that? Be with a new group, new people. Kind of parts come up. Oh, do I need to protect? A little trepidation, and then whoa, then there's a little relaxing, and then whoa, there's something even feels like alchemy. The self, the parts. It's no longer the contraction isn't as strong now. What's it like to be here in that, Adam? So Johan, sorry.
well, there's like a sense of connection. There's openness. There's some warmth. Um, uh, yeah, trust.
And let me check with everyone as we hear Johan guiding us here, as we hear just the flow, the acceptance, the trust here. What's our version of it as we hear him facilitate us? And do you have parts that come up with yeah, but? Do you have parts that come up that say yeah, but? And then also, can you feel the flow? Is there flow here? Is there acceptance? Is that happening? Johan used words of there's connection, there's openness, there's warmth, there's trust. What's that like in your system? What's most like that? Can we join him? And if you're like, nah, I'm not finding this at all, just we've got Johan here. You can just tune into him like a piano key. It's like, oh, there it is. There's the key. There's connected, trust, warmth. You can find it. And in this, can we also hear it's almost a koan he hit us with at the very beginning. How do we bring together this IFS, the relative, the parts, the experience with this that doesn't come and go, that Johan called the non-dual? How do we integrate those two? How do we marry them? Like, is that a koan or how is Johan addressing that in what he's been sharing with us? Has he been addressing that very question? What's it like to feel into that? Anything else, Johan?
No, I think it's just yeah, this like simultaneous presence, but also really honoring like the relative being here,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Beautiful.
and like a feeling good and not having to perform or um,
Nice.
hide anything. Yeah.
Nice. The simultaneity. I'm curious, maybe we could even pop over to Haneen next because she was speaking about this simultaneity. As Johan says, like not having to perform, everything gets accepted here. What's that like? The sense of the relative, the you, the personal, all of it. Like we talk about this being a celebration of you and your parts. What's it like? Like really honoring those while there's also this bigger awareness here, whatever that is in you. And I know Haneen, this has been a theme that Haneen and I both had recently. And I'm wondering, Haneen, anything you'd like to share about what Johan was saying or how it's playing in you before we keep going?
I'm sorry. I just had to think about you said saying while two things or more things are present at the same time, there can't be any suffering. And I feel like this is what Johan is speaking about. It's been relaxing in his system, and there's this openness, and that is simultaneous awareness of more things at the same time. And That's my favorite game.
Wow.
Um, this is what I've been playing with as well right now. It's just really nice, like feeling the edges, feeling the form, feeling the whole room, feeling the presence of the a little room here of the bubble of like everyone's voices, the appear like the different frequencies of the voices, the appearances that come to it, the density of things at the same time. It's just that how much can I put into this room and become aware of it at the same time?
Yes.
While also how Vender was reminding us and stay in my own presence, in my own, in just in my edge while everyone is speaking. I'm just here. It's just all being perceived here within me through my senses and
Mm. All being perceived here. Is there
with
a
all the
distance?
overwhelm, with
Mm.
everything being just here and being welcomed.
I have some questions. I have a couple of things that come up. Like, first off, what's that like for you as we hear Haneen share? How does that play in your system? Does it bring up a spiritual achiever? Does it bring up a critic? What's it like to hear that? And she says everything being experienced here. How does your system translate that? As she hears vendors happening here, she hears Johann happening here. How intimate are we with each other's experiences? Is there a distance? And then Haneen also spoke of the idea of being aware of one or more than one object at the same time. Just in IFS, we speak of at one level, suffering only occurs when we blend with a part or identify with a part. See if that's true for your system. Like most suffering comes from identifying or blending with an experience. And then what Haneen's pointing to for me is if we're aware of two or more at the same time, if we're aware of what Johann's sharing and then what Vendor shared, if we can be with both, if there's aware from awareness, we're aware of both of those, it becomes very difficult to blend. And if we don't blend, how can we suffer? Okay, anything else, Haneen, before we see how this is all playing?
And yet there is blending. I mean, there is blending while speaking about things. That blending is still here. And probably that's where also like some discomfort and like the system being tensed and stuff, but it also has just as much room here. That's all.
So what do we do with that? Is that another koan? Is that a little riddle as she describes this? Wow, there's blending here, but there's room at the same time. There's a simultaneity of blending and space. Whew. All right. And then again, this is not some like advanced thing we're doing here. We're just there. And then here we are. We're hanging out with Alethea, with her plant. We're just hanging out. Let's see if we all go over there. We're just playing after school. Nothing. We're not going anywhere. We're just resting with John in the space. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. It's just a celebration. We get to be alive together. What's bubbling? Who wants to go next?
I'll go because I'm gonna have to go at the hour. Oh, sorry, Alita, do you want to go? Because I don't care about going. Okay. Um, I'm what Raymond shared helped me because I don't know, there's like some intensity here for me, and I don't really understand it, and I've been like letting myself it's like move away from the story. Like I find the story takes me kind of either into the future or into the past, and just like I keep directing myself. To the present moment? Like, can I just stay really present with like what's here? Because I notice a lot of the suffering seems to come from like anticipating. There's like an anticipating anxiousness or yeah. memories of what might happen and somehow being really present with it. Um, yeah, there's less suffering, or it's just like a little bit easier, and my mind stops trying to figure it out. The other thing I've let happen is like, okay, notice there's a move to have my mind figure out a strategy, and I can like not do that. Like I can just kind of feel my headspace too.
Not do that move. I need to figure out a strategy. I need to, God, this is uncomfortable. I need to do something about this. Figure out a strategy. John's like, oh, but I don't do that. And as I don't do that, I just hear present. And just we only have another minute with John. Can you feel him? There have been times when I've connected with my friend John, I've been having if I'm blended with something and having some difficult, I have to do often is just call John, connect with John because you can this presence, if you can feel that, what he's speaking to. See if you can enjoy that as what he's speaking to, staying in the now, like not going into the strategies, not going to anticipating the future, the past. What do we find when we're here now? You can feel that, the frequency of that in John. Anything else, John?
No, this was great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wonderful having you with us. It is the hour. Any final words from people who are departing for the world?
Yes, Sid, I'll just say that um, I mean what John was just sharing there, and for me the best analogy, and this is why silence, inside silence, is the key. Because sometimes watching my mind is just like watching a horror movie on the television. But what I notice about horror movies on the television, see if you turn the sound down, it's nowhere near as scary. So there are ways, gentle, wise ways of dealing with our experience, which is normal,
Yes.
where we can suffer less, Sid.
Thank
Just
you.
like what you were
Yes.
saying. So
Thank
yeah, I
you.
hope
Thank you,
everyone
Raymond.
suffers less and loves more.
Beautiful. Thank you. I need to
you.
say
Thank you.
something. About what Raymond just said about the horror movie. I just because I think at the same time it can be a love story. When we lean in the possibility of that becoming a love story. I wish I had caught everybody before they left with that one. All right. Adam, Zoe, Jack. How's it going, Adam?
Yeah, it's going. Ah, wonderful. Yeah, what I've been noticing, just really resonating with all these different experiences, is the intensity. There's a, so my parts are showing up with their hurts and their desires and their oh no's and their, but it's, and I trying to follow along and I trying to remember and all this. And so it could be called something like overwhelm in some other, I don't know, context, but just here in this last hour, it's been just a continual, like a meeting, like a, so I can't say it's not a pain. There's not pains. It's just, but it's like they arise and they want something, and then they've been able to feel, because of the way we're sort of moving and playing together, this continual space. So I really have this feeling experientially, like the parts are coming up as the waves. They feel it, and then they're looking, they're wanting to grasp, wanting to be feeling separate and then feeling what's here. And it's not spacious. It's like very full for me. It's like but very intimate and connected. So it's like a dance, and sometimes it is contracted, like, but it's not what I've experienced as blending when I'm like have to talk through, like a um talking from a part. It's more like just meeting it. It's like, oh, there's that part that wants to hold my jaw, or tremble my jaw, or contract around my heart, or start moving my heart more in a certain way when certain words arise, from other. So that's kind of what's been coming up, and it's really just so beautiful to be present with it and be okay with having okayness to all of that.
What's that intimacy like for your parts? Like, really, we really do aspire for this to be a celebration of everything that arises in us. And just as your parts are experiencing being met as they arise, this intimacy within Adam, what's that like?
Hmm. That question just brought a whole cascade. The tension, the trembling, then like falling into just warmth. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, just to be seen. That's how it felt. So like there was like a grasping, oh, I got to figure what's it like. And then it was just, no, it was just like letting go.
Then at first, because there's a real help. There can be real help in having all of us with you, having this sense of this collective self, this love, this acceptance from all of us, your new friends. But then as we look a little deeper, we can find that it's just helping us find the resonance of self here, of this place of intimacy, this acceptance, this warmth that is that is intrinsic in Adam. And so that ultimately it's the self that's always here in Adam, the sky, this being, this is love, that's meeting everything that's arising in the system. And this is what we call these tipping points in effortless IFS. As the parts start to recognize that self is here, that this welcoming is here, that this okay, this intimacy is here, this safety. Anything else, Adam?
Mhm. No, thank you.
Hmm. How are we doing, all of us, before we go to Zoe and Jack? How are we doing? How are you? What's here? What's the foreground? What are the parts? What are the thoughts? And then what's the sense of self? Zoe, how are you doing? It feels like, where's Zoe? I haven't heard from her in so long. How's this all playing for you? It's like I heard you last like about an hour ago.
Yeah, it's been a busy session, hasn't it? Um, I just enjoyed hearing you, Adam, kind of describe that meeting that you were just meeting parts. Felt really tender. And yeah, it was a reminder to be tender to myself. And then hearing you describe, the letting go and the release. And yeah, that touched me. Hmm. Um, I came looking for steadiness and connection along the path as a traveler. And I feel that over the last hour, I've been able to connect with that steady presence within me amongst the parts. Um, and that's a really precious gift to be able to receive from everybody that's been here today. Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess I came with a couple of parts that were activated. Um, and I'm just noticing that, yeah, I guess in IFS terms, kind of through listening to everybody, being able to just zoom out and hold them within yeah, the kind of deep love that's here. Thank you.
Oh, just a minute, Zoe. Just a minute. How about for us? How are we able to hear the space between her words? Yeah, you get that, Adam. Like the self that's just, you mentioned the word radiance at the beginning, Adam. It's like the self that's just shining through as Zoe speaks, with like they're the words, and then there's the space. We hear the poetry, the beauty in that, and we are able to enjoy that as she speaks of the tenderness in Adam's system and how much she enjoyed that and what that was like for her. As Zoe speaks of the letting go and release, as she speaks of the steadiness and connection that she's found here, that I'm experiencing in her right now, that I'm finding through Zoe. Wow, looking for steadiness and connection. Wow, now it's like, thank you. Wow, there's steadiness and connection right here, Zoe. Thanks for being our anchor. Mhm. Anything else you'd like to share, Zoe? Thank you. In a moment, we get to go to my friend Jack. Just before we do that, I can't help. Zoe really took me down there with her as this anchor into that space as she was sharing. It's like the mind just really slows down, and the being this just gets louder, the peace, the connectedness in me. Jack, how's this playing in you? How you doing today?
Yeah, my parts are sort of falling back into a philosophical mode, I guess. But I'm really just sort of realizing personally how much I'm I'm constantly predicting what's going to happen. And I sort of feel like anybody that thinks that they're not doing that is just not paying attention to what's going on.
Mm.
I mean, every time I take a breath, I'm predicting, right? I mean,
So how about that, Jack? Is it an either or? The predicting, oh, so sweet. Like, Raymond spoke of it kind of as an either or with the sense of a horror show, and then we can step back from it. Like, I'm really more interested in this sense of the beauty of it all and the radiance, and Adam's word again, the radiance of it all. And so as our thoughts start predicting, it's like, wow, look what they do. They predict, what am I going to do next? I'm going to put my foot
But it's not
down.
even thoughts. So I'm not even talking about thoughts. You can forget it. I can stop thinking and I'm still predicting.
Hmm.
There's like biochemical processes that are going on in my body that are predicting stuff. I mean, it's trying to keep a homeostasis. So that's can just continue that at a base level. So when you ask, how am I? I'm sitting here predicting away. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is that's going on regardless of any kind of conscious thoughts that
Awesome.
are going on.
Awesome. So is there a problem? You and I enjoyed Lack Kelly says, what's here when there's no problem to be solved? Are these a problem, or is it all an expression of the dance of Leela, of this beauty that we are?
Oh, it's definitely all an expression. I'm just it just seems so obvious to me. The more I think about it, the more I sort of listen to it, it just seems also obvious that that's going on. I must be misunderstanding what other people are saying when they claim that they're not doing that. Okay, so
Mm,
I just wonder how much of it is just not hearing what people really mean, and how much of it is they really mean something that I don't believe, that I
yeah.
find hard to believe.
So I
Okay,
think this
so
happens.
is that, and I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
I'm okay. That's perfectly okay for that to be happening. If it wasn't, nothing would be okay, because that's kind of happening all the time.
Nice.
So,
Yes.
and I'm really okay. I'm really okay with that. So, yeah, in the sense of being okay with stuff, yeah. What else can you do, really?
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of trying to fight what's going on, believe me. Um,
Yes.
but
So what about
but
on?
but but
Hmm.
so when the thoughts do come, and I'm trying to figure out a strategy for something, I'm okay with that. I don't feel like I have to make that stop necessarily. I can just be okay and resting, trying to figure out a strategy. So
Right.
I, I just feel like I'm maybe not relating even to what a lot of people are saying here,
Okay.
other
So
than
so I
there's a
want to
real good sense
suggest
of trying to be
something.
connected.
Oh yeah,
Pardon?
I want to suggest something
Sure.
here that this is playing on two different levels. Like
Oh yeah.
on one level, they're kind of the burden parts that can take us away. We have an experience of them taking us away from self, and we're playing this game of kind of staying here, being, we call it self-leadership in IFS, the sense of, wow, self is more pronounced, it's louder than the burden parts. And then Jack, in your system, we see if we can hear this in Jack's system where that doesn't really, there's no longer that clear discernment. It's like it's more all an expression of beingness. And in that way, when he goes deeper into it, wow, there's always anticipation in one way or another, but it's all just included. And the body, like it's beneath thoughts, the body's doing all of this. And so it all becomes this. And I mean, this is what I was hearing in Zoe's system as well, as she was speaking and speaking about parts. It's like this, like the peace was so pervasive there. I could just feel it, what was there, the steadiness, the connectedness, that in the parts themselves, it's like everything was being pervaded by it. And it's just, and I also want to, last thing is just to notice any spiritual achievers that come up that say this is better than than the other place we've been playing with, because it's not, it's all this, it's the enjoyment of it all, the celebration of how it all plays. So just notice if there's any kind of spiritual achiever, and that's just a part, and then this peace and okayness is still here. It's always here. I wanted to check in to see if anything arises for Zoe and Adam with this, Jack, but how was that for you? How are we doing?
Yeah, you got pretty close in a lot of ways to kind of what I
Thank
was
you. Good
going
job,
on
Sid.
with.
Good job, Sid.
Yeah, pretty close. Um, yeah, the whole idea of traveling really hit me hard. I'm going to talk about fellow travelers because it's been an interesting change of plans. You know, like I said, the
Yeah,
best laid plans of mice and men.
right on.
But yeah, it's just so interesting to watch my reactions too. It's just like,
Yes.
it's just it's it's like a better than a TV show, you know,
So interesting to watch my
kind of
reactions.
stuff.
What's that like? Can you hear better than a
Yeah,
TV show?
yeah.
Almost like having a sense of awe of how life is playing in us, the reactions, the parts, including them all. Yeah. Let me see how it's playing for everybody. What's coming up in Adam and Zoe as we've got 12 minutes left for the three of us, and maybe we're at closure, see how this is playing. How are we doing? What we got? This is Zoe. What you got, Zoe?
I'm just, yeah, I feel complete.
Mm,
Mm.
mm. I feel complete. I feel complete. Just so we can enjoy that for a moment. Feel complete. Nothing missing. Feel complete. Adam, how you doing when Jack speaks about all of that? How was that for your system?
Hmm. I noticed a very young part coming up and wanting like resolution, right? Because feeling like, oh, Jack's my feeling may or may not be, anything of what Jack was feeling was there's something I need to. There was some young part that was like needing to help or do something. I could just feel that part, come up
Yes.
and
Yes.
wanting something, really wanting, something that part
Yes.
was sensing or hearing or feeling. Um, and then I kind of often that part will take over. But in this last few moments, I was just really like, I kind of just noticed the curiosity, like, and really appreciation for Jack's, like what Jack's saying. Uh, like there was a part of my mind that thought it, part of me that thought it knew what Jack was trying to say. And then when I felt what Jack was saying about prediction and that kind of like homeostasis and the okayness of that, like really feeling that, it was like, whoa, it was really cool.
Awesome.
For parts to see that and feel that and be here for that,
Yes.
right? It didn't go
Yes.
away. Yeah.
I'd like to check on one thing for your system, for all of us, as we hear Adam speak up, and then there's a part in Adam that wants something. And there's a part that wants something that may be like, oh, everything is not complete, like Zoe just said. I want something. I'm not completely okay. Is that a problem that Adam has that part? Because I want to suggest this is one of the reasons I love IFS, because it's a celebration of everything that arises in us. And even though Adam probably could join us and just kind of step back into where Zoe's pointing us, and but even pointing us today as well, there's just peace here. There's just okayness. Like we can step back into this taking refuge in self. In IFS, we don't do that. Like we do it, but we absolutely include everything, and we just fall in love with the parts that say no, but I want something. I'm not okay. And so there's a reason those parts are doing that, because these are aspects of us that haven't been completely welcome, haven't completely found home, that might be carrying a burden. And so this all this life energy that gets to come back home, we get excited about those parts. And so they're not obstacles to self. They're our celebration. They're what's next as we continue on the path. Um, Anything else, Adam? And I want to just come back to Jack as he was sharing to see if there's anything else there as we close. Anything else, Adam?
No, my parts are really appreciating all of this. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm, yes. Zoe, anything before any final words? And then we're gonna go to Jack. Anything else?
Mm. Yeah, lots of appreciation also, and I can't remember the exact words that you just used, but just the sentiment of celebrating parts having the chance to come home. Yeah, what an amazing thing that is. What an amazing place to finish today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zoe. And then Jack, any final words for us? Anything you'd like to bring together for us?
I'm not sure I'm bringing anything together at all, but my my parts are feeling like overworked, or they're feeling like worked, because I often see parts as helpers or tools, or how you want to think of it, but they feel like they've been really worked so far. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but that's just what's arising. So yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, everyone, for co-creating today. Adam, such a treat to have you. Hope you'll come back and join us again. And Zoe, Jack, thank you for everything. And see you later, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.